What did you prove to yourself when you fought?
I didn't prove anything, but I proved that I did my medicine, the goat medicine, my EMT, my told, and it told me I was a better person to set fight. That's what they did. I've been doing this for years. Teenager, so it's just full of anticipation.
And the popularity that it showed. Were you surprised that the pay-per-view number that occurred during COVID and you still sold more than anybody who was currently in the game?
Just very grateful because of that. I don't look at myself as I'm better than those guys. Everybody has a different era. I'm fortunate enough that different generations are aware of who I am, and most of it is because of my crazy acting. I'm very grateful for that too, because it drew the fans. This is just a new era with Mike Tyson.
Do you think you'd be fighting again at age 57?
Hey, listen, it was written millions of years before my bloodlines existed. This is just a new era with Mike Tyson.
After his surprising loss to Jake Paul, Mike Tyson has resumed rigorous training. The former heavyweight champ displayed determination, pounding the heavy bag and honing his head movement. After a highly controversial win against Mike Tyson, Jake Paul has been on the radar of countless fighters in the industry, including his fellow influencers like KSI, who have bashed the fighter, calling him a pathetic excuse for a boxer. Meanwhile, Jake pretends to be oblivious to all this based on how, even after the intense scrutiny and justified criticism online since last Friday, the young 27-year-old fighter hasn't addressed any of those concerns and is solely focused on compelling the public about the astronomical success of the event, while simultaneously labeling himself as a revolutionary athlete who is just being targeted out of envy. Jake tweeted, "So many snakes in boxing, smile in your face and then run their mouth in the background. We don't need you, we are getting rid of you." He also wrote in another tweet, reflecting on how I have disrupted boxing's old guard. And it finally hit me, Mike Tyson was the original disruptor, took the entire sport by storm and became an icon. Goals are clear, not holding back and reiterating his ideas about this fight being too easy for him and Mike, not being a worthy opponent. Jake has once again generated an uproar on the internet with his critiques on Mike's fighting style and his punches seemingly lacking any solid power. Recalling his experience from that night, Jake commented how after the event was over, his biggest regret was holding back and taking mercy on Mike Tyson, because deep down from the very beginning, he wanted to give a show by knocking out the old warrior no matter how heinous it might seem from an ethical point of view.
Biggest live gate, 18.1 millions in U.S. boxing history outside of Las Vegas. A phenomenal night. I'm sorry I didn't knock him out. I wish he would have, put up a better fight so that I could have risen more and done more. And he was surviving.
He was.
So that was the only thing I didn't like. Nothing. Didn't feel a thing, to be honest.
Bro, you cap.
I'm literally being honest, bro.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Bro, your head is so big.
It didn't hurt. He didn't really land anything.
After these comments went mainstream, many fans and analysts started to call out Jake for his tone-deaf statements that not only portrayed a bad image of combat sports to his huge fan base, which is comprised of a younger demographic, but also seriously impacted his career in the long run, because no professional fighter or promoter at this stage wants to partner up with him due to his tendency of making everything problematic. Expressing his frustration, one fan wrote, "Okay, when is his homeboy gonna chill? Man acting like he won a heavyweight title instead of marketing intern of the year. Another wrote, LMFO, try boxing with competitors that are not twice your age. Are you running through the whole retirement home? Even Dylan Dennis, who is a former MMA fighter and one of the harshest critics of the Paul brothers, jumped on this bandwagon and shared his anger at the aftermath of this embarrassing debacle on November 15th, especially Jake's statements, emphasizing how no matter how much Jake attempts at making himself appear as a great fighter and champion, everyone knows that he is nothing but a loser who has been dropped by major promotions and is now doing everything in his power to gain as much as notoriety as he can. Dillian wrote, shut the fuck up, mate. He, Mike Tyson, fought some of the best boxers of all time. You fought one boxer who happened to be your age, was a part-timer and a reality TV star, and he beat you easily. Your last fight sold 67k PPVs, and Showtime cut you because you were losing them so much money. What Dillian tried to allude to here is the financial and contractual issues that Jake has been facing since the start of his career due to mishandling of negotiations or breach of certain terms on the contract, which appears to be the case in the most recent lawsuit that has been filed against Netflix, in return to which the streaming giant is allegedly claiming how they weren't compensated properly by Jake's company MVP and how they have been left alone to take the brunt off the backlash that has been going on since last Friday due to the streaming issues that were faced by viewers online.
A Florida man has filed a $50 million lawsuit against Netflix claiming breach of contract after subscribers dealt with buffering issues during the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight.
In breaking news, streaming giant Netflix is being issued a class action in relation to the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight. TMZ reports the lawsuit is over streaming issues and a breach of contract. Thousands of viewers claim they had trouble watching the fight. Netflix is yet to comment.
Aware of these serious legal matters surrounding Jake, KSI recently sat down in an interview where he commented how at this point Jake is not the big and important fighter that he claims to be, because after getting dropped by major companies like DAZN and Showtime, Jake has managed to mess up once again by blowing up his and MVP's partnership with Netflix as well, which will have severe repercussions in the future. KSI stated, where can he really go at this point? What has he got? He scammed Netflix, he scammed DAZN, he scammed Showtime, he scammed all these people. Where is he going to go? MVP is like shit. He added, I don't think anyone's gonna want to do business with him, and I feel like the audience doesn't give a shit about him and they're not gonna fall for his stupid bullshit anymore. Being someone who has been an arch nemesis of Jake since the start of his boxing career, KSI looked back on the fight between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, calling it a humiliating affair, especially considering the 30-year age gap between them. Adding on, KSI pointed out how it is fights like these that go on to show the real disgusting character of Jake Paul as a fighter, because no sensible or mature boxer would have ever taken up this disrespectful offer, no matter how lucrative it might have been.
We all know you're just full of shit. You're not really a heavyweight. You just fight all these people that are super easy to fight because you want to just make a name for yourself, get the easy money, easy.
KSI also addressed the recent call out that was issued by Jake Paul's manager, Nakisa Badarian, to Speed, and the potential deal about him fighting the heavyweight champion Daniel Dubois, which according to KSI is absurd and pretentious because deep down they know that they won't take up on these offers because of Jake being a mediocre fighter who can barely maintain his composure against older veterans like Mike Tyson or Anderson Silva.
I thought it was just, the whole thing was embarrassing, especially that Jake took the fight, but it's Jake. Jake doesn't give a shit. He has no shame. He's gonna just, I think he's looking to maybe even fight Speed. His manager Nakisa is there like, yeah, bro, if Speed's on it, we're down. It's Jake. He doesn't care. He's had actual boxers wanting to fight him. Beterbiev has called him out to fight. Yeah. Dubois has called him out to fight. So that was he's not going to fight any of those people. He's just going to try and fight the easiest people and then make himself look like he's the fucking best when he really is just a piece of shit.
He said he's asked Nakisa to communicate with the Warrens about a Daniel Dubois fight.
He's not going to fight Dubois.
I mean, yeah.
He's not even a heavyweight. Bro, he was gassed out fighting Mike Tyson, bro.
Though KSI has been no stranger when it comes to sharing the ring against a Paul brother based on how he has fought Logan 2 times in the past, winning the rematch after the disappointing draw in the first one, the fans have yet to see a potential fight between Jake and KSI that will finally settle the dust and will end the rivalry that has been festering for so many years. Looking at the comments made by KSI over the last couple of years, the fans have only gotten more excited in hopes of witnessing this fight take place very soon, as according to the British fighter, he can easily defeat Jake Paul based on how he took down Logan, who is a relatively better fighter out of the two brothers, and how he also possesses a better boxing IQ and skill set.
I beat Logan Paul. Logan Paul is better than Jake Paul. Yeah. So why would I struggle with Jake? I mean, yes, he's got the highlight reels, but once he's in the ring with me, yeah, I'm a different animal, man.
However, considering the statistics and meticulous rules and regulations in combat sports, KSI has declared that even though he wouldn't mind entering the ring to beat down the cocky fighter, the weight disparity between them is something that will be a major hindrance, because in the past, he has fought at 180 pounds, but Jake and his team are demanding a match at 200 pounds, which is a staggering difference.
So I'm like, why not just get me, Jake? Let's do it.
Please.
I mean, I've got to weight 185.
And what does he
Tommy
want?
Fury at that weight as well.
What does Jake want?
He wants like 200.
Okay, so why don't we just meet in the middle? 192.5.
No, I can't do it. I can't get even heavier.
Why?
Because it's just so hard. It's hard to put on weight. Like,
I don't think
that
so.
saddens me.
Yeah, it is sad. It is very sad. And you can even see with Jake, he's constantly pushing the weight higher and higher and higher. This brother is not a heavyweight. This guy is not a heavyweight.
Though KSI has been hesitant in accepting any fight offers from Jake or his team, one person who seems quite adamant in orchestrating this bout is none other than Logan Paul, who recently had a podcast where he coined the possibility of KSI being the next man on Jake's list of future contenders. According to Logan, who ironically is now a business partner with KSI, this fight will be a massive success with the YouTube crowd because they will get to witness two of their favorite influencers go at one another after years of alleged drama and hostility.
Retired boxer, like he doesn't actually box, so it fits my. It's the weight problem, right? The age-old weight problem. Like, can we just figure this out once and for all? Because, bro, I have a grand vision. Like, I'd really like you and KSI to stop hating each other, please. But I understand that can't happen without somebody getting fucking knocked out or some shit. So can you just get it over with, please? I'm ready. No, you're not. Look.
Meanwhile, on the other hand, Jake seems to be quite neutral about the idea of this fight, stating that if an appropriate offer is presented and KSI agrees to the terms, then they can have a bout earlier next year. But after witnessing the current state that KSI is in, along with the huge weight difference, it will be a hard fight to organize. Being the arrogant fighter that he is, Jake poked fun at the fellow influencer by mocking him for being too small and incompetent to face him inside the ring, jokingly stating how due to these factors, in the eyes of the public, KSI fits his profile of ideal opponents.
KSI is old. He's like 34 or something.
I think he's like 32, maybe 30.
That's old.
31, 32.
That's old. He fits. He's retired.
So there's a chance.
He's a retired boxer. Like, he doesn't actually box, so it fits my.
It's the weight problem, right? The age-old weight problem. Like, can we just figure this out?
Another important aspect that Jake highlighted was how one of the main reasons that he does not favor a KSI fight is the difference in mentalities between the two, and how he does not want to return back to influencer boxing, especially now that he is getting so many call-outs and fight offers from much more prominent names like Daniel Dubois, Ryan Garcia, and Gervonta Davis. Jake also stated that though this fight might have sounded quite appealing at the start of his career, taking this offer now will be a major downgrade in terms of both popularity and legacy. Jake stated, "I don't see it happening. I think we're on two different trajectories. He's doing music and he's doing great at that, with all respect for him if he wants to fight these YouTuber guys still." He added, "It's just on a different level. Like, I want to become a world champion. If I fought KSI, it would be a one-round fight and I'm getting way bigger paydays. If I took a step back to fight him, him, I would be taking money out of my wallet. Sharing the same opinion as his fighter and business partner, Nakisa Badarian has recently shared how right now their focus is on moving towards the cruiserweight to fight more eminent names like Canelo Alvarez and to cement Jake's position in the eyes of the public as well as the fellow fighters in the weight class. Talking about their plans and aspirations, Nakisa reiterated Jake's comments about the difference in both fighters' ultimate goals, with KSI being heavily interested in maintaining a social media presence, whereas Jake's motive is to be renowned internationally as a serious boxer. And Nakisa commented, "I don't see it right now. I just think Jake just weighed in at 227 pounds, and he wants to be a cruiserweight champion, and that's where the focus is. I think they have a great vocal fan base online, and we wish them nothing but success and continued prosperity in terms of what they're doing and hitting that specific demographic of entertainment." He added, "We're building a boxing platform that's very focused on women's boxing, focused on young athletes, and letting Jake kind of run the front end of that spear." Addressing the constant brutal back and forth between the fighters online, Nakisa stated that even though he has no problem with this ongoing spat, one thing that seems to irk him a lot is the constant attempts made by KSI's legal team to make their official and off-the-record dealings public, which goes on to show a certain level of unprofessionalism and immaturity that not only sets a bad precedent and deters others from making deals with you, but also the fact that it cannot be tolerated when negotiating for fights of this caliber.
I don't think they've been realistic in what the fight is. I don't think they've really negotiated fairly in private. Again, I don't negotiate in public. We've never made out to try to put them down. Jake and KSI going back and forth with each other, totally cool. When his representation is constantly taking a public position on Jake Paul, on MVP, on myself, it's just not who I want to do business with. It's not who Jake wants to do business with. Jake Paul, KSI is a great fight. I think it's an exciting fight, but it's going to be on terms that make sense in the background between ourselves, DAZN, and Wasserman.
However, this might not be the case in reality, because just after these statements went viral, many fans and experts started to point out the hypocritical nature of both Jake and Nakisa based on how it has been them who have been dragging along KSI's name for months for the sole reason of chasing clout, knowing well enough that they are the ones because of whom the fight was not properly negotiated till now. Sharing further behind the scenes information on what exactly went down during these alleged negotiation meetings, KSI's promoter and manager Mams Taylor took to Twitter to clear out the air, stating that the claims about KSI ducking this fight and their team breaching any negotiation terms are nothing but absurd and false. According to Mams, he and KSI have always maintained a fairly optimistic attitude towards Jake and Nakisa, but the recent allegations and taunts have pushed them to not proceed in the negotiation process. Mams also revealed that before Mike Tyson was finalized as Jake's next opponent, Nakisa approached them for a fight, but later backed down from said offers, seemingly lured by the huge paycheck that they would gain by exploiting the old fighter, and whenever a new date was offered or suggested to them, they always either refused or made rather lame excuses, while simultaneously continuing to maintain a facade on social media by making countless call-outs. Mams stated, "They asked KSI to replace Mike on Netflix knowing KSI is signed to DAZN. KSI responded and said, 'Let's fight in December.' They said not possible. KSI said May, so Jake has enough time to get back to his natty weight. They said no because they want to fight Chavez or someone for Cinco de Mayo, but can do Feb. We said, okay, let's do Feb. They said, nah, we feel insulted and bled." So what are your thoughts about this whole drama between Jake Paul and KSI? Do you think that the brutal and harsh comments made by KSI regarding Jake and his fighting skills are justified? Or do you think this whole thing is just a mere stunt orchestrated by both the fighters to gain more notoriety and fame? And what are your thoughts about the potential fight between these two if it ever ends up being finalized? Make sure to tell us about your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe to our channel.